Two prominent Democrats, you see them right there, they are facing scrutiny over their finances. New York Attorney General Letitia James is refusing to release her taxes, putting a blame for errors on her staff.
Meantime, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is claiming she is not a millionaire, despite previous disclosures showing her assets valued up to $30 million. Omar says the discrepancy was due to a major accounting error. We have Sam Antar. He's a forensic accountant. Jacqueline Toberoff, she's a journalist and author of Supermoms Activated. Pleasure to have you both here on set. Sam, welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you for having me on again.
Good to see you. Let's start with Tish James. I know whom you are very familiar with and her money, so to speak. Yeah.
Right. She doesn't want to release her income tax returns. Now, we know that she bought a house in Virginia, the one that she was indicted on that's now under appeal. Right? She bought a house in Virginia. She claimed it was a second home, but she was taking at the same time rental income deductions, rental expense deductions on the house. Now, you can't claim to the bank that it's a second home while claiming to the IRS it's a rental property that you don't even live in. So that was problem number one with her income taxes. That's why she doesn't want to release it.
Right.
Problem number two is she says, well, look at my financial disclosures. Okay, we've been through this before. Her financial disclosures from 2020 to 2024 have been all false. They don't include the home that she was indicted for in Virginia or the mortgage. They include mortgages that that don't appear in the property records. So her financial disclosures are false too. So don't look at my false tax returns, but look at my false financial disclosures.
Okay, but bottom line for me, Jacqueline, I mean, yeah, it's money in there, they're in politics, but what's the big deal? Everybody's got hassles with the IRS.
Well, these are people that are supposed to be upholding the law. I mean, they're supposed to be transparent about the law. And I don't want to pay my taxes. Why do these people, firstly, how did either of these people amass so much money? Whether there was an accounting issue that was supposed to be $15 million as opposed to the $30 million.
I've never had an accounting issue like that.
How do they have all of these homes? How do they have all of this cash and all of this loot?
All right, well, let's talk more about Ilhan Omar. So she, Sam, is blaming the accountant that they hired.
They always blame the accountant, like the CFO.
Now, her husband, he's in venture capital. He's a partner with several other people. Maybe it gets kind of confusing. How often, I guess, would an accountant make an error to show that you are valued up to $30 million? And they're claiming now it's significantly less than that.
Let's go through the facts. The accountant himself wrote a letter saying that the assets were valued at about $30 million, give or take, right? Okay? When you say an asset is valued, that means net of liabilities. It doesn't mean it's the gross amount, it's the net of liabilities amount. Okay? So that's...
Wait, what do you mean by that?
In other words, if I say something is worth, if I say Newsmax is worth $1 billion...
It is.
Okay?
More. It is, by the way.
I mean that's worth after you pay off all your debts.
Okay, got it.
Okay, next.
All right.
Okay? So you have that issue. Then you have the issue whereby the net asset value goes from 30 million to about $1 million or so, right? Something like that, right? But at the same time, she reports income that didn't exist. So all of a sudden, her income goes from a maximum of 90,000 to a maximum of $1 million. But her asset value goes from 30 million down to zero. I'd like to know who's cooking her books.
Wait, these are the people that are making financial decisions for the nation.
Good point.
Well, I should say Omar is.
Yeah.
Her attorney did offer an explanation for the revised disclosure forms. It's a letter, and her attorney wrote that, quote, as the busiest of people, it is very common for members and their spouses to rely on learned professionals like accountants to make calculations and determinations that appear on public findings. While the error is, of course, unfortunate, there is nothing untoward. Nothing illegal has occurred. Could there be any legal problems for this, for Omar, do you think? Or is this just a PR issue? I mean, it definitely doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, again, Sam is much better at getting into the weeds. Just from a normal person perspective, again, how did they amass all of this money? I don't understand it. I don't think anyone else does either. They are in politics. What does her husband do? What special favors has he gotten? What inside information? How are these people where they are economically? And by the way, they are part of the party that wants to take everything away. Why don't they give it all away? Why is she even collecting a salary? Why is anyone on the left collecting a salary? I don't understand that either.
So, Sam, do you think anything's going to happen legally to either of these two? And I know Letitia James, and then they had a technicality with Lindsay Halligan, the prosecutor, that it wasn't the right appointment.
The current DOJ with Todd Blanche in there is a mess. Okay, he's been screwing up the entire deal. He screwed up the.
You're saying Todd Blanche is screwing up?
Wow,
the
because we heard that
DOJ.
about the previous one.
Okay, New York State wanted to bring. The prosecutor in New York State wanted to bring a tax case against Letitia James. Todd Blanche quashed it. Todd Blanche did not give Lindsay Halligan the support she needed. He put in his own guy in Virginia who had no experience trying criminal cases.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's our government for you this morning. Hope you're happy, and it's going to get better as the day goes on.
As we said, we just talk about it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but we're taxpaying citizens
Yes,
too.
we
You gotta
are.
expect
Yes,
some
we
normalcy,
are.
something
I
to
gotta
function.
get an accountant like that.
I just need to get the cash. I want the cash that they see in the suitcases going through the TSA checks. That's where I'm like, where does that stuff come
If she
from?
had hired me, she would never gotten in trouble.
Right.
All right,
There you
Sam,
go.
Jacqueline, thank you very much for being